Samsung's upcoming flagship phone, the Galaxy S26 Ultra, is already making headlines, and not just for its performance or camera specs. The latest leak suggests something surprising. Samsung might slightly downgrade the display design to improve the front camera in a meaningful way. At first, that might sound like a strange move, but it actually makes sense once you understand what Samsung is planning. According to new reports, the company will keep most of the camera hardware similar to last year's Galaxy S25 Ultra. However, Samsung is reportedly making one big improvement: the selfie camera. The Galaxy S26 Ultra could come with the biggest front camera punch hole ever seen on a Samsung Ultra model. The hole is said to be around 4 millimeters wide, which is noticeably larger than the S25 Ultras. At first glance, this might seem like a step backward, especially since people usually want smaller, cleaner displays. But there's a solid reason behind this decision. According to well-known leakster Ice Universe, Samsung isn't making the punch hole bigger just to save money. The reason is the new front camera's wider field of view. The Galaxy S26 Ultra is expected to offer an 85-degree field of view, compared to 80 degrees on the S25 Ultra. That means you'll be able to capture wider selfies, perfect for group photos or when you want to include more background in your shots without stretching your arm. Interestingly, that wider field of view is about the same as the main rear camera on the S25 Ultra. So even though the front camera will still use a 12-megapixel sensor like before, the lens upgrade will make a real difference. It should help selfies look more natural and detailed, showing more of what's around you. When it comes to the rear cameras, Samsung seems to be sticking with its proven setup. The Galaxy S26 Ultra is expected to keep the same quad camera design as before, with the 200MP main camera leading the way. However, some reports say Samsung might use a slightly larger sensor or a faster lens to capture more light, rather than making major hardware changes. Samsung's main focus this year could be on improving software. With the new One UI 8.5, Samsung is expected to bring better photo processing through AI. This means sharper images, improved low-light shots, and more natural colors, all achieved through smarter software rather than new lenses. Still, the front camera is clearly the highlight of this year's upgrade. The only small trade-off is that the punch hole will be a bit larger. Some users find punch holes distracting when watching videos or gaming, but many don't mind them as long as they serve a purpose. Surveys show that while around 1/3 of people dislike any kind of cutout, most users quickly get used to them. In this case, the larger punch hole actually adds value by improving selfies and group shots. Once users see better front camera results, most will likely forget about the size difference. After all, camera quality affects your experience every day, far more than a slightly bigger cutout on the screen. If we compare this to Apple's direction, the iPhone 17 series introduced a new 18MP center stage front camera that can shoot both portrait and landscape selfies. However, Apple's dynamic island still takes up more space on the screen than Samsung's punch hole. So even with a larger cutout, Samsung's design remains cleaner and less intrusive. When you look at it that way, Samsung's decision makes sense. The company seems to believe that users will prefer better selfies over a slightly smaller punch hole. And honestly, that's a reasonable bet, especially in an era where social media and front camera use are more popular than ever. In the end, the Galaxy S26 Ultra may not bring massive hardware changes or brand new camera sensors, but it's shaping up to be a smarter and more refined upgrade, with a wider front camera view, enhanced AI image processing, and the same premium design Samsung is known for. The S26 Ultra could offer one of the most balanced flagship experiences yet. A slightly larger punch hole might sound like a compromise, but if it delivers clearer, wider, and better selfies, most users will likely agree it's a trade worth making.